what's important is that Pure Metals have taken over management of the Hawsons project. However, they've taken on the same project team, and the same project director has been running the project for Carpentaria. And we expect there to be complete continuity in the management of the project. Carpentaria will be overseeing the what goes on by way of a management committee, of which it will chair, owning 60% of the project.
So what happens next?
At the moment, we've got a $5 million budget, and we're spending that on course, on track to our main focus is to keep the project on the critical path. That means the EIS work, some water definition work, and an MLA application, that's a mining lease application. We're preparing for all of that within the $5 million budget.
Now, you mentioned water there. I've heard some reference to a saline aquifer. What's the background behind that?
All mining projects need water, Chris. The amount of water that we need will be determined by the flow rates of the aquifer and the ultimate size of the project. What we're doing is attempting to drill some holes in our saline aquifer just south of Broken Hill, about 80 kilometres.
So you know that it's there already, it's just a matter of tapping it?
In our pre-feasibility study, we identified that aquifer. We know it's deep, and now we need to do further tests to determine the flow rates and the salinity. We'll know a lot more in the coming months.
Okay, now we've been talking before about the quality of what you're going to get out of the ground, and that has a lot of bearing, obviously, on whether this is successful or not. How can you improve the quality of that concentrate?
Our metallurgical testing has shown that our concentrate will be at the very high end, the high-grade concentrates at over 69% iron and very low impurities. Now, we can achieve that concentrate with a number of ways. Recently, we've done some hydroseparation test work, which is one way to remove the magnetite from the waste. Those results were very promising. So on top of grinding, magnetic separation and hydroseparation, we'll be able to achieve a very high-grade concentrate, and we're always reducing the costs for us to do that.
Now, as we get closer to actually mining, what sort of job rate are you going to be looking at, and over what period?
Yeah, good question, Chris. I know Broken Hill listeners are always keen to find out about these things. Our production schedule is production around 2016, late 2016 at the moment, should all things go well. In the past, we've said about 1,000 jobs for Broken Hill. At the moment, we're redefining the size and scope of the project. However, it will go, there's enough resource there to support a 50-year plus mine life. So that's the order of what we're looking at, Chris.
Now, does Carpentaria and Pure Metal have control over that entire area, or would you expect maybe other explorers to come into that same area, and maybe there would be additional mines?
The area you're talking about is the Braemar Iron Formation. We, Carpentaria and Pure Metals joint venture, hold all of the Braemar Iron Formation in New South Wales, and a number of other companies, including Carpentaria, hold licences over prospects in South Australia. So our project is a standalone project. I think if we get going, there's more chance for other companies to get going in South Australia. But at the moment, Chris, we're a standalone operation and looking to be either large or very large.
Now, as far as any other exploration, are you continuing to explore in this area and elsewhere?
Yeah, that's right. At the moment, we pretty much know what we've got at Hawsons, and we're in a development phase. North of Broken Hill, we have a tungsten project that we recently commissioned some more metallurgical test work, and we're waiting that. If we can show that we can produce a saleable concentrate, that'll be a great boost for that project. And we also have a number of other tenements north of Broken Hill, which we're steadily exploring for base metals. On top of that, we've got a growing gold portfolio in the Lachlan Fold Belt.
Now, when it comes down to dollars, because that's ultimately what it's going to involve, you have a certain amount of funding from Pure Metals. Are you still having to go to the market for the rest of the project, or do you know where you're going to get the rest of that money from?
Chris, there's a number of options. At the moment, we're well funded for the next 12 months with Pure Metals putting $5 million into sustaining the work. The rest of the funding will either be sourced from the market or from additional partners that we may or may not bring into the project, and we're working through those options.
You seem pretty confident about this, whereas others have maybe suggested that the mining industry is on a downturn. Are you confident that you can make this work over the next 3 years?
Yeah, Hawsons is a great project. I said at the Broken Hill conference more recently that there's been a number of magnetite projects that have been shelved, basically due to high costs and lack of infrastructure. The Oakajee Port and Rail project in Western Australia is one example. But we secured further funding for our feasibility studies, and we do have the existing infrastructure. So we're very well placed compared to others.
Now, you obviously have that confidence. Is there any one single thing that in your mind at the moment would put a dampener on that confidence? Is there something that you're afraid may happen that would stop this from happening?
Oh, look, there's always a degree of market risk, but if your project is located at what we call the low end of the cost curve, what that means is that our project is aiming to produce product at $55 to $65 per tonne, which is in the lowest 60% of worldwide producers. That's a good place to be. What's